your first aid instructor, responding to emergencies. And now it's time for splinting. And the first one we're going to go over is for the clavicle. And as you all know, this is the clavicle. You can see hers. And it's fractured right about here. It should be exposed. The clavicle is a sling and swath. S-W-A-T-H. Remember the sling, I measure it like this, I hold it up, and okay, that's how I'm going to do it. So now I know that's how my normal sling looks. I'm just going to slide this triangular bandage up against her chest and lay that inside tie over the uninjured side. Bring this up on the injured side. And now I'm going to take this point that's out by the elbow and I'm going to it. You should all remember this one. Now the elbow to sit in a nice little pocket here. I've got an outside tie, and an inside tie. This is a normal sling. I want to leave the hand exposed. For the clavicle, I take this outside tie, I tuck it underneath her arm. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slowly pull up on it. And watch her left shoulder here. As I pull up, her shoulder starts to raise. We want to pull the shoulder back to its normal anatomical position. So I pull out until, does that feel better, Deanna?
Yes.
Okay. I hold that tension, and now I've got to tie it off here in the back. And I'm the tension. It's not easy. Square knot here in the back, try to keep it off her neck. There's my sling. Now I've got to put a swath on it. So I've got a nice wide cravat. I'm going to place that right around her upper arm. Starting from the elbow, going up. I pull it across her chest nice and tightly. And tie it underneath the arm. You raise your arm just a little bit for me. And if you get too tight underneath here and they don't like it, you can put padding here. Because I won't get too tight, I don't think. And there's my square knot again. Now I can check for circulation. Squeeze my fingers. And this right here, folks, it is a sling and swath. The outside tie goes underneath and pulls that shoulder up, and now we can transport or have EMS when they come and they can get her x-ray. This is for a fractured clavicle. The next splint is for a fractured humerus. Now, do you remember where the humerus is, everyone? It's right here. It's the upper bone in the arm. And so we are now going to show you, or I am going to show you how to splint that. Okay, you can sit down here. I got two short boards that do have some padding on them. And I'm only going to use one here because her clavicle, she has, her humerus, her arm's like this, and it's fractured right here. What I want to do is I want to immobilize in place first. Remember our principles of splinting. Immobilize and prevent further pain and damage. But we have to remember some principles, and one of them is to place ties first. So I'm going to use these green stripe ties. Now I have my ties in place first. Now, since her arm is against her torso or her trunk, I don't need to use another board. I'm going to use one board. Long enough, wide enough, and strong enough, okay? I take it from the elbow up, and now I want to secure the splint above and below the fracture site. So our fracture site's right about here. So I'm going to get one above. Are you okay, Deanna? Mm-hmm. All right. Normally I would be talking to my victim the whole time. Okay. And now I want to tie it below the fracture. And you want to tie snugly. Okay? Not cutting off circulation, however. And I'm going to go ahead and use one more down here. There's a fracture site. Okay, now I still have not immobilized the elbow or the shoulder. So I've got to put this victim in a sling and swath. You still remember how to do the sling? Maybe I'll show you one more time. So again, it'll look like this on the outside. So I just have to take this and slide it up over, under the arm against the arm of the chest. Here's my point. I've got to tie this off, or I can tape it. I can pin it. Luckily, I have enough room to tie. Okay? Here's my normal sling. Okay? Okay? And now I want to apply a swath. So we're going to use this long purple gray striped cravat. She can still do this, so we don't want her to do that. So I'm going to pull this against her body real tight. And now we have the splint for the fracture humerus. I'm just fixing my swath so it's down at the elbow, so she's tight here. Her elbow supported, and I have a splint in. We want to start from the elbow up. You can see how much room we have. That's okay. We don't want to extend down because it would be difficult to put her in a sling. That's for the humerus.